What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome to Decoding Bangalore. This is your boy K. Let's get started. In today's episode, we are going to decode the most famous or infamous MG Road and Brigade Road New Year celebrations. Well, the story of the New Year celebration here in Brigade Road and MG Road didn't actually start in Brigade Road, but it started here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Downtown Pub. One of the oldest, one of the most iconic establishments to have existed in the city of Bangalore. So the New Year celebration of Brigade and MG Road didn't actually start in Brigade and MG Road. It started right here, Downtown Pub. One of the first, one of the oldest and one of the most iconic establishments that we have here in Bangalore. It has its own traditions, it has its own flaws, it has its own ups and downs. Right now it's closed for a couple of years, it's been closed for a couple of years, it's been closed multiple times over the years. The story goes back to a time where Bangalore was a much smaller place. Entertainment, amusement and facilities like this were concentrated to a particular space. Let me remind you, this is pre-Sajapur, pre-Kormangla, pre-Marathahalli, pre-Outer Ring Road, pre-everything that you're old enough to remember. So Downtown Pub right there was one of the most iconic places where the who's who of Bangalore used to come, chill, party and enjoy. And then the story changed up a little when the youth of Bangalore started to get into the picture. That's where our second entity comes. And this second entity is a personal favorite of mine, and you'll know why. Well, the second hero of our New Year celebration in Brigade and MG Road is this little boy called Chinlungs. Chinlungs is a budget-friendly, pocket-friendly, student-friendly establishment which changed the game here in Brigade Road. It was a very clean and very green place back in the day. I think that's why ironically there is a snorting nose right in front of it. With DTB and Chinlung setting fire on the south end of Brigade Road, we had Just BLR, which was a fusion lounge back in the day, and the icon of icon Picos here trying to set fire on the scene here in Brigade Road. Okay, with establishments like Fusion Lounge, aka Just BLR, and Picos right here, and also Le Rock Cafe, things were getting a little crowded. And all the businesses around here took notice of it. A couple of years later, every single merchant here formed a sort of an association where they made it a habit where they would decorate the iconic Brigade Road with its iconic New Year lights. No party, no celebration, just lights. With the light set and the ambience elevated, the number of people who came here for the New Year celebration also doubled every year. And then something happened. There was an abundance of crowd going to Picos, to Le Rock, to Fusion Lounge, to DTB, to Chinlungs, and it started having something called as spillovers. Crowds outside the pub waiting in line to get in so they can have a good time. A typical thing which you can see every day in front of every establishment, but since it was New Year, it was on a little bit of an extreme. Years passed, people outside started to party, people outside started to have their own good times, and that is how the New Year celebration started in the first place. But everything changed when this road became a center of attraction. Once Church Street was open for breweries and the infamous Lil Goa store, things kind of changed. This slowly became one of the most concentrated places with alcohol establishments in the city. And let me just remind you, this is pre-Kormangla, pre-Outer Ring Road, pre-Sajapur era. So people started flocking in. And then The spillovers, which were happening a couple of years ago, itself became parties. And things started to go a little wrong once the early 2000s arrived. So, over the years, the number of alcohol establishments here in Church Street mushroomed beyond control, and it is now what we know as the pub hopping central of Bangalore. I mean, also featuring Kurmangla. I hate that place. So, in the late 2000s and early 2010s, the establishments and the authorities joined hands to create a safer and more happier place for celebration during New Year's. Well, a lot of people might have a different opinion about where and why the New Year celebration here started. But I low-key think it's because of this. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Empire. If you know Empire, you're awesome. If you don't know Empire, you're yet to be awesome. This is one of those establishments in the city of Bangalore which serves you food till the wee hours of the night. And also, people who think going to socials is cool, cool. So, with all these establishments and the organizational skills of the authorities, the Bangalore Brigade Road and MG Road New Year celebration is or has become a staple in the culture or the pop culture reference of the city of Bangalore. But this year, things were a little different. With the 2010s coming to an end and with us reaching the halfway point of the 2020s, things have certainly changed. The organic, the spontaneous, and the fun atmosphere that once was Brigade and MG Road is now more of a fabricated story. A show of I don't know what. You guys saw the videos of what happened this year. It felt more like a Tirupati Darshan than a party. But still, you'll find 100,000 people walking in every single time. With everything said and done, I hope you guys have a fruitful and a meaningful and a successful year ahead. I don't understand the people who come and party here in MG Road every year. I am not one of them, and I'm certainly sure that you're not one of them. So here was just a story behind why this hoo-ha of a thing is a hoo-ha of a thing. So I hope I entertained you for a couple of minutes. You're an adult with a job. Get the fuck out of Instagram.